Hi, this is Nate, and we're ready to demonstrate how to remove a mirror when it's attached with silicone. If you need to refigure your mirror or redo the coating on it, you're going to have to go through some kind of process like this to get that off the silicone. So here we go. We're going to start with this 8-inch, and the first thing we want to do is turn it over and take off the back. Just mounting plate, we call this, by unscrewing these adjustment knobs. It's under spring tension, so just take your time. There it goes. So now we're still stuck to the mirror. We have these 3 bolts here. You're going to need an 1/8-inch diameter, 1/8-inch size of Allen wrench. Okay, now before you take this off, if you're going to be putting this back on without replacing the silicone and just removing this plate for some reason, you'll want to mark the clocking of it so that you put them back on in the same orientation that they have right now. So we're just going to take this off. I'm going to put a couple little dots on here to indicate how it was when we took it off. I don't necessarily recommend this, but if it comes about that you need to do it, make sure you clock it. We've got these 3 spacers here that we have to get off. And now we're down to these bars that are affixed to the mirror. We're going to take this chisel and we're going to work it right underneath there with some medium pressure. I'm just going to work it. If we can get that Delrin pad to push up off of the silicone, it'll start releasing. Can you hear that? There it goes. So you can see there's a little bit of uncured silicone in the middle. It's been about a week since we put that in. Silicone on the outside is completely cured, and where these holes are, where these little pegs of silicone are, those are all cured. But in the very middle, where the hardware is, there's not much access for air to circulate, so it takes a lot longer to cure inside there. I don't consider this a problem. We still have all of our holding power. The inside doesn't have to be completely cured. I suspect it will eventually cure, but it may take years. So there's that. So here's the second one. We're just going to work that. It really helps if you have a very nice sharp chisel where you can get a really clean cut off like that. Some chisels are sharper than others, but I've basically removed all of the silicone, or everything that's possible to remove is gone. So that's how we do that. Pretty straightforward. We're going to move on to the 10-inch now. Take a look at that. So here we've got this full thickness mirror. Again, it's been sitting for almost a week. We're going to do the same thing. This is a 10-inch. Oh, this one has a fan on it. There we go. Springs. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take off these 3 screws. And there's our little washers again, or spacers, I mean. These are important. Make sure you don't lose these guys and put them back on. And here we've got our 3 bars. They're still stuck on there really well. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to kind of work into the underside of that disc. And the Delrin is going to flex a little bit, and eventually it's going to try to separate from the silicone. The Delrin will let go of the silicone before the glass will. So we're going to pry it a little bit now. That doesn't seem to work so well. Giving it pressure, just going straight into it. There it goes. There. Same thing. This one has a little bit of uncured inside of it. So this mirror is not ground flat on the back. A lot of texture, a lot of pitting. So we definitely won't get all of the silicone off on this guy. But if I understand correctly from the mirror makers, we need to get as much as we can off. But it doesn't have to be completely clean. You could always have the backside ground on your mirror if you end up with one like this. This is an old mirror, I think from the 60s. There's definitely some residual silicone stuck to that mirror. Okay, so that's about it. About the same on both of them. I don't expect it to change depending on diameter. So if you get up to a 16-inch, it should still work the same. I did want to talk a little bit about if you are trying to remove a mirror that has been glued to, let's say, a plywood mirror cell. I once took one apart for a friend that was a 16-inch, and it had, I think, 6 pads, pretty good size, like 2 or 3 inch diameter pads of silicone on it. And it was difficult to get it off. It was really hard to cut through that thickness of silicone. Tried different things like a wire, dental floss, even tried like a abrasive cutting wire that would cut through metal to see how it would do. None of those things worked. The thing that worked the best for me was a serrated knife. I just went down to the secondhand store, and this worked pretty good to saw through that silicone. You want something that's not too thick this way, nice and thin here with relatively large teeth, and it sawed through there pretty good. It was still quite a bit of work, but it did cut through there. The only other thing that I could see working would be something like a handsaw, as long as the silicone pad is fat enough, thick enough to get a saw blade through there, because it's pretty resilient stuff. It really takes quite a bit of work to cut through it. So if you have any questions, give us a call, and we'll talk to you next time.